name them all for you.
Back in the 80s.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started this evening, and we will begin with roll call.
Tim Mills.
Here.
Catch me off guard. Rob Keller.
Here.
Donna Kramer. Here. Matt Rankin.
Here.
And Ryan Whirling. Here. We do have a quorum.
We're going to skip the good news section, and it's going to take care of that down under the superintendent section there of 6D.
Maybe one thing that somebody added in there.
Is there?
Neat. Let's see.
I can do that one now real quick if need be. So you'll have to bear with me. I'm trying to figure out how to use the situation here. So we had a situation where Miss Arch took some of our students to a thespian festival, or a thespian opportunity. On Saturday, August 6th, 3 drama students went to a Thespian Leadership Day, an event that was held at South Tama County High School. They attended workshops, talked with other student leaders, and listened to Kevin Worley, a Broadway alum from Cedar Rapids, Jefferson, talk about his lead from the sidelines in theater. She's very excited they were able to bring back some new ideas about how to better lead and advocate for theater in our school system. And the students were in order from back to front in the attached photo. Hopefully I don't butcher anybody's name. Luke Strand, 10th grader, Parker Mallory, 12th grader, and Michael Rothschild, 11th grader. And she's just thanking the school district for giving this opportunity to attend this Thespian Leadership Day.
Thanks, Ted. Next, any board member reports on anything? Delegations, petitions, communications, looks like nothing. Okay, we have the approval of the consent agenda next.
And on the table in front of you is an amended agenda. We had to add the out-of-state trip that came into us. The venue changed from Iowa to Illinois, and when you do an out-of-state trip, you have to have that approved by the board. So we just got that yesterday and not in time for getting it posted. So
Where is that? You said in front of
it should be on the your table
Oh,
in front
there
of
it
you.
is.
Yeah, so it's just the agenda. Yeah.
For call, okay.
They're going to Galena, Illinois, and 6 of them are going, and they're taking one van.
Okay.
I did have one question on the consent agenda. The transportation routes for the year. I think it's been common practice in the past for the routes to run the way that they are on this schedule, but after I looked at it, the same kids that get on the bus before 7 o'clock in the morning are still on the bus after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And my concern is some of these kids are spending an hour and a half or 2 hours a day collaboratively on the bus. Is there a way to run that route exactly the same in the morning and the afternoon so that the kids that get on early get off first in the afternoon and we kind of spread that time out a little bit? Or is there a reason that it's ran the way that it's ran now?
Sure. I guess I don't know that answer. I can check with Ron and ask him if there's a situation on why that happens that way.
I think it's been liability because you're trying to get as many people off the bus quickly. That's been what the suggestions from the Department of Ed and safety-wise. That's what they've done in the past, where you leave town, you're letting people off, and so the least people are on the bus as
Most amount of time.
you keep, yeah.
Okay.
So you're right, but those people get,
I was in that situation as a kid.
So
and it was- that's not fun.
Yeah.
And so I was just curious if maybe there was a way that we could
well, we can talk to Ron
look
about
at
it too.
running that a different route.
Kids were
So I would think they're picking up more kids in the morning. It seems like it still doesn't circumvent that.
Yeah.
Because you're picking up more kids if you go the same route, so there's more kids on there longer in the morning. Or is it just the afternoon they want the kids on?
Well, what they do typically in the morning is they go furthest out and then they come in. And then when they leave in the morning, in the afternoon is they go out and they drop as they can so that you're coming in, you've got your latest one, your earliest ones are on there really early. And then like it would have been the town people or close to the town people are getting off first and then that last person is still the last person. So, but that's what I've been told is a liability, trying to get as many kids off as quickly as possible. but I can talk to him about it.
Okay, that was the only question I had, thanks.
Good. Thanks, Matt. Anyone else, anything on the good board member report section? Okay. Consent agenda then. Oh yeah, that's where we're at. Consent agenda, just approval.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made by Donna,
Second.
seconded by Tim. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next is no presentations? Nothing like that, John? Okay. Next is the approval of the 2022-2023 preschool handbook.
This is an annual approval, and she gives you the change of the quickly, or right away, and then you can go and look at the whole handbook. I think it's on the website. It probably is. You guys received that separately.
Just approval of that will be what would be needed, unless anybody wants to discuss that further.
I didn't have any questions.
You did?
I did not.
You did not, okay.
I don't have any questions.
Make a motion to approve the preschool handbook for this school year.
Motion made by Mac,
Second.
seconded by Donna. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next is the appointment of the 2022-2023 ISB Board Delegate, and Ted's going to explain that a little bit more.
So this is a situation where the Iowa Association of School Boards is asking for a special delegate to make a vote in regards to if the Iowa Association of School Board wants to continue its alliance with the National School Board Association. There's been some, I don't want to say necessarily turmoil, but there's been some discussion that many states feel like they're not getting enough from the National Association of School Boards, so they're looking to see if the state of Iowa would like to continue in it. As of July 2022, 25 state school boards have withdrawn from it. But really the goal comes down to being given the state association the opportunity to say, yes, we want to continue in this, or we want to look at another association, because there's another association that has started, which is the Consortium of State School Board Association, which feels like their needs are being met better through that organization than the National Association of School Boards. So it will be one delegate from Indianola School District. There is a phone call, I believe it's September 13th, not ideal time, but it's 6 o'clock in the evening, and really it's a very short meeting. It probably won't even last a half hour.
The 23rd,
September.
13th of September is a Tuesday. Yes, we would.
You know, Ted, I was the delegate last year. We voted on that right before the whole meeting started. We had, we met the day before. We voted on that very issue.
It sounds like we need to do, they're asking for this to happen now.
Separately from the ISB, and we voted
Yeah.
at the last year. We just did that.
So I'm guessing that they're bringing it back around for another time around, and it's at 6 o'clock p.m. and it's on Tuesday the 13th, the same night as this bond
So
vote.
somebody would have to step out and vote.
Do that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it, because I heard it all last year already.
Make a motion to nominate Donna.
Motion made by Mac to nominate Donna, seconded by Ryan. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Donna's our delegate. How would you like
vote
us?
no.
How would you like us to get? Would you like our comment or like our thoughts, or what would you like?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell me your thoughts, but
You want us to just
it
email
was-
those to you?
it was, I'm just surprised they're doing it again.
Is it like closed, what the reasons are? Like, is that like closed information, or what's the?
Have they brought that up at all or disclosed that?
No.
What the reason?
Not really. And what I can do is, they sent out a 5-page flyer in regards to it. I can make sure that everybody receives it, and after you have the opportunity to review it, if you just want to let Donna know your thoughts
Before the
Yeah.
13th.
before that.
Okay.
think that'll
So
be
we
fine.
have a meeting that night, right? So
Yeah.
I just have to leave the meeting to vote?
Yeah.
Just call it in?
You
Yeah.
you could just go in that room, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
Done. Next is the board HR report.
Sorry, I just lost everything. And I'm the only HR person here, I think, besides Mimi. And I'm the only one here for policy. You guys are gonna be real sick of listening to me.
What are you here for, too? Facilities?
I was the only one at the policy meeting too.
Oh
No, I
my
was,
gosh.
the other people were at the HR meeting, they just aren't here tonight. So Mimi, just, sorry, my whole thing just.
It's gonna be the Donna show for a while. Go ahead, Donna.
Yeah,
You wanna
well,
stand
yeah.
up and do it now?
I do.
You can go up to the microphone if you want.
Okay, what page is it on?
Sorry, it is on page 59.
Oh, it's on 59, hang on. Okay. A lot of it, you can just see, it's a lot of information about the substitutes and temporary staff and what they're paying. You guys have any questions for, me or anybody about that? I don't think there's anything. And then down, the next part is just saying the people that they hire subs for and that they don't, and if they, what they have to be certified in.
Okay, that's what that
Okay,
meant.
yeah, yeah.
Wasn't quite sure what that meant.
And then the early retirement, Mimi brought to us that the finance committee was talking about it, but really that was just for our information only. There wasn't any, we didn't decide anything, it was just for our information, so. And I'm sorry, I went too far. That incident about the student, we don't need to discuss that. It was already taken care of. And then, just to discuss the process, if, there was concern about an employee's performance, what the procedure was for that. She'll be, and then Mimi's going to spend a lot of this time reviewing. Do you want to explain what you're going to kind of be doing? Because
Yeah, sometimes you get people in job positions and then they either move around or some of the job duties switch a little bit. So really digging into the job descriptions and making sure that people are doing what their job description says and potentially realigning some tasks as sometimes, job duties change and what needs to happen changes and just making sure that all the tasks are aligned and, put with the correct person, especially when you have folks that have moved from position to position. Well, I like this part of this, so I'm just going to take this task with me, that maybe doesn't always make sense. So just kind of clean up some of that, which we've kind of bubbled up here in the last couple of months of some of the job tasks stuff. Nothing specific, but just awareness that I will be working on that as well.
And then the last part was just talking about just having one source to put out communication about the district. Art last year, Art's always been, taking pictures and, doing things like that. But I think other people have also, given stuff or been about. So we're just talking about possibly just having designated one person, or we didn't really talk about hiring somebody just to do that, did we? Or
We're just thinking about how that looks and those job duties. And one of the things that we talked about too that kind of got skipped over here, and I wanted to clarify anyway, is as we start looking at next year's calendar, that 180 days has kind of been a really solid thing for the board. 180 contact days with students, and then we have 190 teacher contract days. And there are some other things that that I'd like to try and work in and just trying to figure out where to do some of that specific training for teachers, staff wellness and those kinds of things. And I can do some of those at staff meetings, but the actual days, PD days, we don't really have for that. So I'm going to really work to get to the 180 days and work it in everywhere else. I just wanted to make that awareness of we have 180 student days and 190 contract days, and 2 of those are holidays. So there are 8 days that the staff doesn't have students, and there's a lot of curriculum training and that. So it was more of an awareness, as there are a lot of things to try and fit in those 8 days to make our teachers really great teachers. And as we dig into the meat of the next calendar, building with Ted's assistance best that we can and just.
I want to make sure though that we are at 180 days. I don't want to go below that. I'm against that totally. So I want that on, like, I don't want to see us drop back below 180 days. We fought to get to that, so we need to keep that for as long as possible. And if we have to do something else to increase teacher days, then that's what we're needing to get as a district to, other districts are a lot more days than in your metro area and stuff. They go longer and stuff.
Public is now 196, most of our certified staff. But every day that we add is $85,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, I just go back to the conversation with Donna where you were talking about how with all the requirements for the school day, there's not a lot of time for teachers to develop relationships with the kids. And so I would be echoing the same thing, somewhere between that balance of how much money we spend and how many days that we provide an opportunity, or we create maybe a little more buffer to try and provide that opportunity. I don't know what it looks like every day, obviously.
Yeah, I just said developing community with their kids.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the exact same thing that I thought about.
Yeah.
And my question would be, when we negotiate these contracts, if we're gonna negotiate the same salary for 3 more contract days or 5 more contract days, where does that additional cost to? I mean, if we kept the salary the same for certified staff and just increased their work days, I understand they're gonna work more days for the same amount of money. There would be cost for transportation and food services and things like that, but
Well, there wouldn't be cost for food service because the students wouldn't be in, right?
If we count the 180 student days.
Depending if it would be a work day or a teacher and service day.
That's
Depends
true.
on what the day is.
So this would just be certified staff needing that training, which, is that still 85,000?
Depends on what and I think that there's efficiencies that can be made within the trainings that we do,
It was more of a, are we still really rock solid on that 180 as we build a calendar?
I think so.
Is there any wiggle room and how can I get creative to make sure that the staff is getting some of that? We care about you as a district, as a
Yeah,
staff person.
I'm all
in the
for
city,
that. I
and
just
we
don't
want
want it
them
at the
to
expense of the
instill that in our students as well. So just making sure that everybody feels good and trying to find the time for that in those cases. So
Yeah.
that's something.
And Des Moines does have more teacher work days because I have 2 grandkids that go to Des Moines public schools. And
Yeah.
I can tell you, they had quite a few more work days. They
Yeah.
had, before conferences, they had 3 days off and then they had their conferences. The kids had 3 days off,
Yeah.
the staff, but they have more work
Right,
days,
right.
for sure. So that 196, a lot of that number is a work day.
Maybe we don't need to go all the way up to that, but I mean, I'd like,
Yeah.
Annette will know how many, where the wherever you guys think, that's what I would like to hear, a recommendation of like, what do we need to get to make sure we're doing this? Does it check out with Jonna with the numbers? What's that gonna look like? All of that, but I don't wanna sacrifice student days.
And that was kind of the discussion there with, okay, are we still solid on that 180? And that's how I'm gonna build it.
Okay.
Start to build the calendar and then we'll do
Okay.
that. But, if you're like, if 177
Yeah.
still does it, then I look at it
Yeah.
differently in building it, so.
Can we can't really make that decision though until the next contract is opened to increase contract days?
Well,
I think that in general, what Mimi's talking about is first you have to identify what is the actual need.
Yeah.
Because to put it in context, we also have faculty meeting time. If we need if we need an hour out of those typical PD, professional learning times, you can work in what's called staff development.
Okay.
We have those days at the end of the school year. Oftentimes if we had a snow day and that work day gets expanded, we have other things that we can do throughout the day with staff too. So there are a lot of different options to hit the staff development side of things once we know what that need is.
Yeah.
But as we talked last year, that 180 days of instruction also affects curriculum, such as our kindergarten teachers have a new reading curriculum that requires more than 180 days. So they've already worked to compact that, and we're coming off of COVID still. The estimates are 4 to 5 years to close that learning gap for some of our most needy kids. And if we start reducing instructional time at that point, I think we have to circle back to say, what is the need? What's the identification of that? And look at training our teachers have had in an ongoing fashion of how to make connections with kids, how to respond to their trauma that some have gone through, and see where that all fits in.
So let's say like
So-
180 days is the student need that comes up, and then we say like, we need 192 days for staff days. Can we set that prior to negotiations, or is that something that has to be negotiated in how many days?
Well, in the master contract, days are not listed.
It's hours.
It's not even hours. There's, the contract, the individual contract per teacher is where it identifies, because we have to be able to say, Tim, if you're gone for 3 days and you don't have any leave, we need to be able to dock you X, because that's how we would know that.
So that
So
can
we'd
be-
have to identify that, and like, I think Max said, that you could work for the same amount. And I don't think that that's what the goal of what we want to do.
I don't necessarily want to do that
No,
either, I just
no.
want to.
Right, no, I guess I just want to make sure we identify the need, and then we do the best we can to hit those needs and stuff. And, you know, if we fall short because we can't afford that or something, well, I hope that's the only reason, you know, like that it's nothing else there. That's-
Because until October 1, we won't know what the money is, so you really can't do anything until you know how much money we have.
Sure. That's something you guys could let us know though, like, here's the need, this is what we need, then this is what we need.
And as we develop that calendar, I'll work with Annette to get those
Okay.
things, you know, just
Yeah.
an hour or two on those PD days, we could make sure that we have something scheduled and identify which, I know some of the buildings do use all of their teacher insert, or their teacher, what do you call those? They can have 2 a month or 3 a month.
Faculty meetings?
Faculty meetings, I know some buildings use all of them, some of them don't, so we're trying to utilize that time as well, so. yeah.
Talk about the morale, we talk often about the morale of the student body, but we also have talked significantly about the morale of the staff and the teachers and associates and everybody. And I think that's where you're trying to make sure that you're balancing that with.
Because if we do hours, don't the hours end up being more than 180 days, or how is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
180 days equals a lot more hours than are.
So like-
71 hours more
Yeah,
than what we needed
yeah,
by law.
yeah, we're over.
But we're also making sure that these kids have access to breakfast and lunch and a safe environment and.
Right, no, but I know, I get that, I'm just saying, we are over though. It's
Right,
not.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like the reason that I brought it was just to kind of get a pulse
Yeah.
of how everybody feels. And
Okay.
I feel like I've got a pretty good pulse. And so
Okay.
now I'll work on getting my calendar created and figure out what that need is and I can.
Sorry, Mimi, I didn't mean to skip that, I was just.
That's okay.
I was zipping through it, and
I
I
wanted to make sure that I did have a chance to talk about that too and just clarify
Yeah,
because
yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
I don't
sorry
always
about that, yeah.
get the notes quite right.
Can you start that now, or do you have to wait till it's here?
The calendar? I've already started a draft of it.
Anything else from HR in the report?
That was it.
Next is actually,
It's the year-round program public hearing.
yeah, where did it go?
That was for the year-round school.
Is that
Have
something?
that on the agenda. Can we do, I don't,
We can do it next time if that's what
yeah,
we need to do.
we might need, if it's not on the
Let's not do
agenda,
it
we
until November
haven't
1st,
given
so
them
we're fine.
public information, so,
Okay, we still have enough time then.
Yeah.
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 That'll be just like a normal public hearing, allow people to speak for it, okay.
in the
So it just
same,
has to be announced next meeting.
yeah, we'd have to put it in the agenda so they see that they can come. Yeah.
Does that 102 investigators that next week, does it have to have a public meeting on it or not?
Well, it has to be on the agenda for them to act, so, so it was in the packet, but it wasn't on the agenda, so I think that we can wait for that too?
Yep.
Okay.
There's also a timeline in which that has to be made for the public hearing as well, for publication, correct?
The 102,
Yeah.
does it have to have a public hearing? I don't know, that's,
For the
We just have to
year-round
appoint it annually.
I think you're supposed to be appointed annually.
Yeah.
So we can, so we can add those next time.
The next agenda.
Yep.
Okay. Next is the Board Finance Committee meeting report.
Don't everybody talk at the same time.
What do you guys do?
Rob, Tim, and I met with Jonna and Ted on July 19th. Went over some of the same stuff that we'd went over at previous committee meetings. We have a little bit more of an idea on budget changes that are going to come up for next year. Some of these positions in this first box will end at the end of the school year, and then there's a handful of additional positions that are going to come out of ESSER funds and go into the general budget. These are all things that we've known about and have anticipated and planned for. So that's more or less just an update for information. We've continued to talk about early retirement plan options for the future. We pulled numbers and looked at how many staff members are 55 years or older and have had at least 7 years of employment with the district. There was 95 of those staff members. And we had talked about sending a survey out to them just to kind of get their feel for what they think about the potential of there being a early retirement plan.
Did send that out. Still, it's in process. We waited until the first week of school because some of those people aren't on contract and wouldn't see it until they came back to work. So of the 95, I've got about 48 that have responded.
If you're one of the ones that hasn't sent it back and watching us online, please fill it out.
There you go. Do you think anybody's watching?
I hope so. I hope there's a lot of
people.
It's a Mac attack.
Or if you review it later. That was awesome.
We'll be right back after this. Donna also went over the Pepin and Save funds, and we wrapped up our meeting in a record hour and 7 minutes this time. So it was a great meeting. Any questions?
All right. I feel like we're at the newscast in the evening. Thank you back to me.
Yeah, back to Rob.
Okay. Which is the facilities project update. Back to Donna, actually.
No, I'm not up.
Oh, you're not on facilities?
Sorry.
Sorry.
And this is just the project update, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Tim.
Have you been out here? Have you seen there's dirt moving?
Yeah.
Out here, and the tennis courts are gone. You ask Vanderpool
yeah, I
to do
saw
something,
That
and
must
they
have
got it
happened
done.
yesterday.
I know,
That must have
it's
been.
quick.
Oh,
So
really?
it's,
Wow.
so they've moved, and Iowa Irrigation is working to get things, because Vanderpool was supposed to do it next week, and they had an opening, and they came in and took care of it, which is nice. They're working on the existing irrigation lines, and the dirt work is going. So, we've talked to them because our concern at first was, we're gonna have a construction site that's just flat for a year about. But they're concerned about if we don't do it, if we don't start now, obviously spring is the wettest time of the year, and you wouldn't get in until June or July. So getting this in will get us the flat work done, move us forward on the footings, so that they can be ready for the panels when they come.
Nice.
So they're going to know yet this fall if we have to dig out and replace.
I think so, yes, that's the plan, yeah, and Bernie's talking to them about that. So we are planning, we'll have construction meetings every Friday, I believe, is what the plan is. And currently, it'll just be Zoom meetings, but in the future, we will be on site, is when we have a site to go to. For this, yeah, so.
If that is the case, does that come to us then as an additional item we'd have to pay for then? If it
For
is?
that's the piece that's the extra. That's what we will know once they get to this point, because this is the dirt work that they were concerned about.
Does that come back before the board then?
If there was a change order, a large change order, the smaller change orders in the past, the superintendent has approved. But if it becomes a large piece, we would bring that, we would let you know either way, probably. I mean, if it's a couple $1,000s, usually Art would just sign off. It wasn't worth, but we could easily keep track of that with you too, so. It's part of the original contract, but it was an add-on, if you recall. That was that additional piece that they said, it's an unknown piece and it's this much per cubic yard. So that's the question. So Bernie has been talking with them. We've got our construction manager that's working on our project. He's got a direct line too. So he saw the dirt out there and he went, they placed it where we believe the pad will be, and so they'll have to move it when they scrape, and then they'll move it back. So it just seemed, he's gonna talk to him and find out what the deal, why that is.
Bernie or the manager of the project?
Bernie is going to ask him, but the manager of the project said, we're here, we're doing this, and then this dirt showed up. So that's what if that's the amount, that's what he was questioning. Is this the amount that was specified in the contract? This is it. And then if we need more, that's what he wants to find out. If that's the question, where we think that there might be additional costs, or if that dirt will suffice for what we need for the project.
We've not worked with this company before, right?
No.
No, that's what I thought this would be.
So, yep. The facilities committee will be meeting on the reveal project of the middle school, in the renovations that we've done. So we'll meet over there when we meet next week. Which is, he's excited to show that off. I mean, it looks nice, I think. They're still finishing some things up. And then you can see the list of all the summer projects that we've had. They're busy, ready for school getting ready to schools to start. The one big thing is these miscellaneous concrete projects. We're using Cox Concrete here in Indianola. And one of the, where the buses come in the back is the big chunk, yeah. We knew that using that, we wanted to see if that would work, to move the transportation to the back and keep them separate from the cars, and keeping cars off 92. So it's worked, and we knew that was probably not gonna hold up because it was a sidewalk / drive, but it was more for cars. So now that we know that it works, we will continue to use that, but it's gonna be reinforced and thicker. So, yep. So we could have done,
For the first game here?
it'll be done this week.
Oh, good.
It'll be done before the buses start driving on it. Right, that was his concern, yeah, so, what's that?
Fresh concrete.
Oh, yeah, concrete, yeah.
So hopefully, that's planning to be done. It should be, not get in the way of the construction as well, so. Any questions?
Next is the board policy committee meeting report. Now back to Donna.
Our meeting was pretty short. I think we beat you by quite a bit.
Efficient,
Just FYI.
Because I wasn't there.
efficiency.
Well, if you guys want to look through it, the first one was about student suspension, and it's just all that information. We didn't change much language of that till you got down to student conduct, and then we just wanted to make sure that the punishment basically fit the crime. It was felt money appropriate for the student that we were disciplining. So anyway,
The change.
anyhow, yeah, and then
See that too.
is that what you?
Standard-
Anyway, it's just
standard
it talks about all the in-school, out-of-school suspensions, all of those things, and then the fee waiver, is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still me,
Part of
right?
it, yeah.
Yeah. Don't we, didn't you guys, do we have a thing here about the fee waiver too, or no? I guess not, okay. So Jonna, we don't really have that on a policy right now.
This is an exhibit of policy, what is it?
Standard
Yeah,
fees.
that's what I'm,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, if you keep going down.
Of the
So it just discusses all the different
Yeah.
waivers students can get in this district for
503.3. Yeah.
all kinds of fees. So
Okay.
it's what we have in place right now. But it's not a,
What does that say at the top of that? Sent to, I couldn't.
That
read.
was me. I sent it to
Oh, okay.
Abby to make sure that our food service director had the opportunity to look at these to make sure we were in alignment with what they do for free and reduced lunches as
Yeah,
well.
because we weren't sure.
Yeah.
We wanted to, because it's a, yeah, new lady. And then the next one was the expulsions. And
Finding it.
yeah. And then the next one was the fines and fees, the charges that we collect or don't collect, and what the procedure is for that. But it's the superintendent's or his designee, which is the way we put, to decide, you know, how they're going to collect these fees. So,
I like the wording on the,
yeah,
are
we
you talking about
changed
the
it.
lunch one or whatever? Yeah, that was pretty good.
It's in fines.
And then the next part's just the good conduct rule. I'm sure Ryan's familiar with that, and Mac.
We were
And
always
Rob.
good conduct.
And then the next part's the physical restraint and seclusion of students and what that entails. And our room is done at Wilder, correct? And then it's just all the information sent to the parents when that happens, and the debriefing document that the parents go through with whichever staff member is referring, and probably a principal. And I don't know, do AA get involved in that or not when they do that?
As far as a debriefing meeting,
Yeah.
normally it's just
Just the
whoever the administrator is. or the
Administrator,
teacher,
the
they talk
teacher,
about it,
right?
and they
I mean, that's
should-
what it was, but I didn't
Yep,
know.
and the parents involved, or the parent or guardian gets access to that.
Right. I just know, I think changed in 10 years, so there you go. The corporal punishment, I mean, it's all there, you guys. It's a pretty long document, but anyway.
For those meal charges, John, does Abby have like something in place that she's going to try to make sure we don't get into the same trouble we did previous years, especially with now all coming back?
Right,
That's
right.
good.
So it's going to be interesting. I've been contacted by individuals in town about donating, because I kind of put them off last year. I said, you know, you can do something this year, but I think that you want to wait till next year when we know that they'll be charged again, and we know that some people will be struggling. They do have, the process is an administrative process that they use to identify who gets, like if a donation of $1,000 comes in, they identify how that happens, you know. And usually, now that everybody's in this, we're back to zero with everybody, it would be pretty easy to split it out by however many people were negative. So we'll see how that works out. I've got to set up a time to meet with them, but they've been very, we talked about it early and then kind of forgot about it, and she just reached out to me yesterday, and so we're going to talk about it. It's coming up, so.
I mean, in the past, we know we've had some people offer to, you know, clear up some of those accounts, but that's kind of gone by the wayside since COVID, so I don't know if we need to.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, I'm just, you know, I'm hoping that people, we didn't raise it as much as we could have, you know, and we didn't want to. So if people really are struggling, that the need is there. But if the people can afford it, that they take care of it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just tried to clean that. As you look at that, there's a lot of red in there. But to try and clean it up, because some of that stuff then wouldn't be an issue, because we're gonna feed the children no matter what, right? So $25, they could be over, and you know, you can say, well, you can encourage them to bring a lunch, but they don't have to.
It's like they get a notice that they're like $5 left in their account, you know,
Right.
to give parents a notification, then it's, I mean, you guys have kids, you know that.
Yeah, so, you know, we'll keep track of that, and, you know, maybe during finance, we can kind of share with you what we've, you know, if we see things creeping up.
Do they get as many notifications when they have a negative food balance as I did for the Chromebook that needed to be picked up for Gianna? Because that was effective. I mean, we.
That many times.
on the
They get it every
calendar,
day.
Went to go pick it up.
Every time you're below, you get an email, right? I mean, if you're below that, you will get, so we need to work with the technology, is what you're telling me?
I'm just saying it was effective. Like I kept
They-
getting emails and I
they,
got
uh,
text
they
messages.
made
and
sure
it
we
said-
got 'em.
Said she needs to
Was
go
it
pick it up.
text or
Finally
was
made
it-
it on August 3rd before the deadline to go pick
Yeah.
up that Chromebook. I think I was probably the only one that hadn't picked up their kid's Chromebook. But,
On August 3rd?
On August
No,
3rd.
I was over there with
Oh,
you.
were you? Diana,
We were gone those other
Yeah.
weeks, and so we had to, yeah.
So it was text to you or it was email? or
It was
both?
over email. I can't remember if it was text or
We
not.
got a couple emails for sure.
Yep. But I'm just saying,
Lunch
that
usually-
level of a reminder may help. I know we've talked a number of times about how we should approach that. I think the language change that you have here is good. And, you know, but it just, I'm thinking outside the box. And as I thought about it, I was like, well, it's pretty effective for me to go pick up a Chromebook. So,
A lot of people are going to text.
You're giving them something, we're asking for something.
We talked about that.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, difference. You're right.
Giving them something too, or giving them food every day.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe start out your thing. We provided.
It's funny because it was over at the middle school. This is my student president. He's like, I don't even remember how to get around here. And I was like, okay, break. Get in there and get your Chromebook. All right, so we just need to vote for approval of those board policies then. It's on page.
First reading.
First reading on page 72.
Make a motion to approve the first reading of all of those policies.
Mac made the motion to approve, seconded by Ryan. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, next is the 2023 Isb Legislative Priorities. These would be the things that,
If you recall, a couple weeks ago, I sent it out to you in an update of the areas that you focused on last year. Those were mental health, special education, teacher recruitment and retainment, and safety. For the 22 school year, the Iowa School Board Association, their legislative priorities were dropout at risk, mental health, teacher recruitment and licensure, school funding policy, and supplemental state aid. So we hit most of them as a group from last year. I guess the question is, which areas would you like me to send in as far as priorities for this year? As I stated, we can keep all four that we had from last year. If you want to change them up, you can.
can you say those four again
Yep.
from last year?
It was mental health, special education, teacher recruitment, and safety.
What do you guys think? I think those four.
I want the teacher recruitment and the mental health in there, safety for him.
When
I guess the funding piece is probably.
Special ed funding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just for- oh, yeah.
I did a review of what you sent out, Ted. I think I responded to you.
Yes.
But it was pretty much, at least the three of the ones that we have on there, mental health, special ed, teacher recruitment, were all addressed, at least in the IASB
Yeah.
priorities, or what was the other section that they had? It was priorities
Yeah,
and,
police.
yeah. And so and then safety, I can't back off of that one. I just feel like that's a priority. And I think I shared this with you, Ted, but I don't think that safety seems like low-hanging fruit. It's like, okay, yeah, install a few cameras, we got safety checked off the blocks. I don't think that's what it is. I think safety, maybe that definition of what creating a safe learning environment looks like can probably be broadened to make that more of a task. Or you could look at it a different way. You could say, okay, well, if we're going to address the safety concerns that we think that we can, maybe there's room for some other priority to be added on there. But I mean, if I think what depends on whether or not we add something else probably depends on what we view our duty is to address safety. If we see that as a laundry list of things that we need to do, then that's pretty considerable. But if we see that as a short list for this year, these are the things we think we can impact, then maybe there's room for or some of those other, or one of those other things. I don't know. That's my thoughts.
I mean, I agree, but the funding is a, a big part of what we need to address also, needs to have addressed.
You had an opportunity. Are you going to speak to your comments about your conversation with Homeland Security later on?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when it comes to funding, there's two different things. It's the supporting the formula, which makes sure that schools are adequately funded. And then the second piece is supplemental state aid, making sure that what it used to be, I guess in years past, where they would get it out a year in advance so that schools could plan accordingly. So there's two different areas of funding that we could talk about if that's a direction the board wanted to go in regards to monies and finances for schools, districts.
So we know safety and mental health for sure. And then you want to be specific as like those funding, do you want to stick with last year's funding of special education funding? That's more of a that's
Special
from
education
federal,
funding.
right?
Yep.
Not state? Is that-
Yeah, the special ed is, it's both federal and state, but mainly it's a mandate from the federal government that, when it came about, they were supposed to fund 100%, and what do they funded, about 33%, John, is somewhere in there? If even that, maybe 40,
It's never been fully funded.
yeah.
So would that even be a state priority then? Special ed fund, or is that?
To me, I think special ed funding can be a priority, because if not, we always end up going back and, into special ed deficit and coming back and trying to erase that deficit through,
Levy, it becomes local then versus just
State.
spread out throughout the state.
So should we even ask for that from these guys since they're state specific, or
I think if you, to
are
me,
they gonna, are they lobbyists just for state, or are they lobbyists for federal government?
I think it goes both ways.
Oh, they are? Okay.
I think so, but I really think if you don't put it on the state's agenda, it'll never get to the federal agenda.
Because what you're trying to do is promote what we think, and then they tally everybody's, right?
Yep.
Everybody's focus.
Okay.
And they'll say, oh, everybody, 300 schools said safety. So that will rise to the top. I think that's the way they do it.
Yep, that's exactly.
Miss Delegate, is that the way they do it?
They tally everybody's votes and then they pick.
My husband used to be a lobbyist, so I know that this is, but yeah, we need to have it on there for special ed for sure. You always have to have it on there for special ed. I don't think you can ever take it off.
Teacher recruitment has to be on there.
And teacher recruitment has to be on there, for sure. We were talking about early retirement, and then Des Moines paying them $50,000 a year to agree to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't that because they cut more than they should have, and then they ended up with
I don't know, last I knew they had 65 positions left, but I don't know if those are all teaching, if they're associate, if they're bus drivers, if they're cooks, I don't know what the breakdown is. But there were 65 left unfilled right now, like a week ago.
But we are filled. We're full. We said, we're good.
Yep.
Sweet.
As of today,
We're short on this.
Nice.
Sure.
Few, but certified students will get nurse, nurse, but we've got 13 on.
So I guess I didn't understand exactly, now I understand what's going on. You're talking about what you're gonna have a lobbyist from IASB say that we want to
Yes.
focus on.
Right.
Got it,
Yeah.
okay. So,
I'm okay with the 4 from last year.
yeah.
Yeah. if we
Keeping them
decided
the same.
for-
the same 4?
Same 4 as last year.
Okay, I will put them in.
And then it's right on to you, Ted.
Yeah.
We need a motion for that?
Oh, do we?
Yes, please.
Oh, we do.
Did we, hang on a second, we passed something that I read in the packet that is not accurate. So where is the area of the mental health counseling? Did we already go past all that?
That was in the
That
consent.
was in the consent.
Okay, that has problems with it. It has 5,000 written out and then $6,000 in parentheses, and then it has $10,000 and $12,000 in parentheses on both of the agreements. I didn't catch that.
Are those not the new agreements?
I was not involved in that negotiation. You came in to, but Art was involved with that.
Take a look.
So,
I thought it was further down in the packet, so I was waiting
Back
for
up to
that.
No, it was in the consent agenda with those two providers, three
It
providers.
should be the three.
In that the prices are off. What they write, what is written out does not match what is in parentheses.
Isn't that what we skipped for the public
you're right.
hearing?
In all three of them, or just,
Well,
See,
the third
choices.
one talks about $1 million and $3 million coverage that'll be carried by each party. The first two, at least,
Right here, that A and B, in the amount of $5,000.09, and then
Ah.
parentheses says 6,000.
this is choices, that's choices, and,
Well, that is an error. Because we had them check them as we sent them, so I take responsibility for that.
Was it in two places that you saw?
yeah, it's on both of the documents in that spot right there is the second
well,
one.
that's, okay.
And it should be 6.
I think maybe we need to,
Because they moved up to those amounts, is that right?
I think we need to, why don't we pull them out of consent, and
Here, let's,
bring them, because that's,
before we do that, let's finish that, the legislative priorities, so we don't forget that. Just need a motion for those 4.
So stated.
Motion made by Mac,
Second.
seconded by Donna. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, now we'll go back over to that,
okay,
the consent agenda. So
right, so,
we're gonna need to pull those. So do we need to redo motion then?
Make a motion to pull the mental health services contracts from the consent agenda for correction.
Okay, motion made by Mac to pull those for correction.
Second.
Seconded by Tim. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. That was just Tim.
Catch Tim.
Good job, Tim.
Thanks.
So those are the new amounts that should be listed, the ones that are in parentheses? Is that
I
correct?
think that's, I want to double check that, because I'm thinking that the one of them was not a 6,000, was it?
Yeah, it says 5 and then parentheses 6, and the other one says 10,000, and in parentheses says 12. So
Okay.
those
So,
are,
yeah, thank you, Tim.
yep.
Okay. Now on to 10.
Sure. I was just gonna double check one thing. So really for my report this evening, it's just a lot of dates, a lot of updates of what's coming on as we begin the 22-23 school year. This afternoon, I'd share with the board and the community upcoming important dates regarding open houses for our schools, community engagement and informational meetings regarding the September 13th bond vote for the Replace and Place high school plan, and some back-to-school information. The open house date and time for Emerson, Laura Ingalls Wilder, and Whittier Elementary Schools are Monday, August 22nd from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Indianola High School will have their open house on Thursday, August 18th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Indianola Middle School will have their orientation and open house on a couple of different days. 6th grade will have an orientation day with 2 sessions in the morning on Tuesday, August 16th. And last night, individuals were told what session they would attend because Indianola Middle School hosted a sneak peek with the 6th grade students and their parents and guardians. 7th and 8th grade will be on Monday, August 22nd from 6 to 7 p.m. The last open house will be for our preschool, and that will be that is housed at Whittier Elementary, and that will take place on Tuesday, August 30th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. As I mentioned previously, Indianola Community School District will have 4 community informational engagement events for our school community to learn more about the Replace and Place and ask questions regarding the high school plan. The first one is tomorrow morning, and that will be at Grouse Cafe from 8 to 10 a.m. The second one will take place on Monday, August 15th, and that meeting will be from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Indianola YMCA. There are also 2 meetings that will take place in the evening for those that are not able to attend the worship group today. Those both will be at the Indianola High School Library. The first one will take place on Wednesday, August 17th, and the second one will be Tuesday, September 6th, and those will both be from 6 to 7 o'clock in the evening. Friday of this week and Monday and Tuesday of next week, we will have our traditional calendar new teacher orientation. For me, this is a special time of the year. We get to see the new faces that have chosen to be a part of our Indianola Community School District. All traditional building staff will start their back-to-school workshop on Wednesday, August 17th, and it will conclude on Monday, the 22nd. During this time, staff will be involved in building level meetings, professional development, and on the 22nd, at the end of teacher workshop, will be district day. During district day, 7 to 8 o'clock will be a breakfast provided by a local city-state bank in the Indianola High School cafeteria. From 8:15 to 9:15, we'll have some announcements, and I will do a welcome with the staff. From 9:15 to 10 o'clock, we have a video keynote speaker by the name of John O'Leary. And new this year, at 10 o'clock, or as close to 10 o'clock as we can get, we will be doing a full staff photo. We're going to do that in North Gym. We're asking staff to either wear a purple, yellow, or white shirt. And after that will be dismissal, and then there's optional IEA and PEI meetings, and then from 11 to noon, there'll be a coaches meeting in the Inver Grove Middle School cafeteria. Everybody on the board, if your day is free, we welcome you to join us. If you do get a chance, it'd be really nice if you could be in the full staff photo. Our goal is to try to put one in every building as the school year begins. So really look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing our new staff and all of our staff out and about and introducing myself to people that I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet. Yeah, Saturday, August 20th is the annual Icyf Back to School Bash from 6 to 8. This is an opportunity to meet the students that are involved in activities and all the activities in Indianola Community Schools. On a personal note, if I've made anybody mad since I've started here, I'll be in the dunk tank that night from 6 to 6:30. So feel free to bring your money and dunk me as many times as you possibly can. It's that time of year again. That fall athletics has started yesterday. Marching band and some of our fine arts programs have been working hard all summer long through their band camp and things like that. So it's great to see so many kids involved in the number of activities that we offer in our school system. And last but not least, the traditional calendar school year starts on Tuesday, August 23rd with students and staff in full gear. So as you can see, there's a lot coming up in the next few weeks in our school community, and that's all I have for this evening. Does anybody have any questions?
So that's a Monday, the 22nd, that you're having the.
Back to school, yep.
And then the teachers, they have a in-class work day on Friday. When are their work days to be in their class?
Thursday, Friday, isn't it?
When you're saying when the other teachers come back, theirs is that first Monday. Are you talking about the flex day?
Yeah,
So that flex.
that can be any time. So the first day they're back, it's just that Monday?
And then they typically have building meetings with their principals on that day, but that flex day, maybe you can talk about it, but I believe they had anywhere from August 1st on to.
So we used to have 2 work days, but now the one's a flex day and one is a district day. Is that what it is now?
There's 3.
But we have 2 professional learning days, 1 building meeting day, and then there's district day when they do that piece. And then the flex day was that whenever they needed to use that to get in and help prep their rooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's 17,
That
the first
answer-
day that they're back.
And it's a Wednesday.
So the kids are coming the next day after the district day then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what day?
August 22nd, Monday, and I'll send out an email to remind you on that as well.
What time is that?
It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
and then we'll wrap up hopefully by 10:15 with the morning portion of the day, the welcome back.
Breakfast is from 7 to 8.
Yep.
Okay. Do board members traditionally attend this?
Yes.
I have, yeah, we.
Donna and I had.
Will not be able to join you guys that day.
You're excused.
I have to make donuts.
Probably doing a whole bunch of physicals that day.
Do you want winning teams or not?
Thanks, Ted. Anything else from anyone?
Approve the out-of-state trip.
Yes.
In the consent.
That was what was added. One thing added, one thing taken.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and then, yeah, the calendar, board calendar, and the, sorry. Oh my God.
Curriculum Thursday.
Yep.
We'll remember.
The finances.
Tuesday.
Yeah, we got back-to-back. We all agreed.
Facility.
We all agreed.
Next Tuesday.
Exciting times, right?
Knowledge use of 2022. Oh, yeah, that's.
Ron, what do you think about seeing if we can do that technology at like 5 o'clock?
In the morning?
In the afternoon. Instead of.
Instead of 7 in the morning.
Just having fun with him. The announcer. was having fun with
Ted
him.
will be running. He won't be able to join us at 5 in the morning.
It's a conspiracy.
That's fine.
I can make that work.
I'll email him. Too.
Yeah, okay, see if they want to switch it.
I guess will that mess your meeting up?
Yeah. That's when I would normally meet with him
We'll just leave it.
at 5,
Do we have anything for policy for the end of the month, or do you want to skip that one?
I don't have anything unless anything comes up.
Steph works on the next set of policies. I don't know, we just to make sure that we're 5 years
Yep.
with our
Stay.
current, so we can see.
You can skip policy if you want. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just asking, there's a lot of things that are going on in August.
I haven't looked at what she's looking at right now, and she keeps a calendar of what's due, so I'm not sure.
Let us know.
You ready to skip? Okay,
If we can add it to September.
okay, I'll see.
anything else from anyone? Okay.
That gets your cue.
It's Ryan's cue tonight.
I did motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Ryan to adjourn, seconded by Matt. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's
official. It's the chair.
You were giving him the opportunity to
Go for it.
I was gonna get back. But it's the chair, it's the chair.